2012 Hyundai Elantra. This is a video on how to replace the front passenger side strut, which is the front right strut. I have the new strut right here. It's an aftermarket strut, so probably not going to last that long. Looks kind of cheaply made. And I'm going to show you guys how to go about this in this car. One thing is you have to take off the wiper arms, both sides. You have to take off this cowl right here, and in order to get at the bolts for the top of the strut, which is, you know, 3 bolts here and 3 bolts over here. First step, you have to take these little clips. All you do is just, as you just saw there, pull up and out, and that removes those little clips. Again, you do the same thing right here, up and out. I'm actually surprised that went very well. After you remove those clips, you have to move these little plastic inserts that are here over the wiper arms. Just use a screwdriver, manipulate your way through it, pull them out. Then you have to move these 14mm bolts from your wiper arms. Then you have to pull off these arms. Sometimes you gotta pull up on the actual wiper blade because they have to come up straight. Usually it's pretty easy, but sometimes they seize. When you take out your second one, you have to drop your hood down. There we go. And next you have to take out these little clips right here. Oops, I broke it. I got lots of these guys anyways. Okay, and then you just got to pull down and up on both sides. And that's it. Oh, one last thing, guys. You have to disconnect the windshield wash. There you go. That's done. And now you have access to your 3 bolts on top of your strut mount. Next, I'm going to jack up the car and take off the tire. You guys don't need to see that. I've sprayed this with WD-40 and penetrating oil, and I clean it with this brush all of the threads as best I could just to get any debris off. I did it on the link bushing, the link right here, and I cleaned up the back. Anything that was nut and bolted, I sprayed down and cleaned up, because sometimes this can be a little bit tricky to get off. Okay, so this should work better with air. Let's take it off. There we go. Now, as you can see, guys, those bolts were really on there. So all I'm doing here, guys, I'm taking off the bolt for the clip for the ABS wire. That's what I'm doing. I used a bar to help me along, but the bolt now is coming out. Here we go. That's the bolt for that. Funny. So guys, I got the bolt and I'm going to take this nut off, and now I'm just going to tap it out. I know, a little bit of overkill on the hammer I'm using, but just the top bolt. And guys, I had to eat it up, and you got to be careful not to injure these threads. Now we have the bottom one left, but I'm going to try to give it some smacks with the hammer and see what happens. Okay guys, I'm going to do a heat up down here now. And now I have to get the nuts off of the link, and remove that one. Sometimes that's a bit difficult. All I can do is put the air ratchet on. If it starts spinning, I'm going to have to try to support it from the inside. Okay, so guys, I got the strut out. As you can see, this one actually didn't cause me much trouble at all. I just put a pair of vice grips on the back end right here and took the bolt off. It was easy. Yeah, it was easy. And I got the strut out. I'm going to show you the strut. I'm going to show you why I took the strut out. What happened to this is, for all of you that know what you're looking at, you can see 100% what happened to the strut. And for all of you that don't, you see how the spring is protruding out here through the side? Well, the spring broke. And I'll put it like this for you so you can see right here. That's where the spring broke, right up by the mount. And, well, obviously that's a problem. So a lot of you will say, well, I could have replaced the spring, but look at the strut. Okay, this strut is old. I guarantee it's weak. And I noticed on the other side, it has a new strut installed. Newer. I'd say it's only about a year old. The strut's on the other side. So it made sense for me to put a new strut. And now we're going to start the procedure of putting this one in and getting everything connected, which is, now guys, as I said, this is an aftermarket strut, so I know it's not going to be as good as factory, but it's a new strut with a new mount. Okay guys, first we got to take the nuts off the bolts for the strut mount. And I'm going to place these just up on top for now to get them ready, because it's a little bit tricky to get them on and get everything in place when you're alone. Okay, and we can turn that one in place now. Now, usually what I do, I just fish to get one bolt in, and okay. Sometimes, guys, this is trial and error, getting everything in place to line up, but usually it's not that bad. I almost put it in backwards. Oh, we're too high. And there's one. And now, sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get the second one in because the strut has to be manipulated. The second one is in. We just gotta manipulate it. Now that you have those on, guys, you can come up here and let's get the right socket for that. Now you can come up here with your 15mm socket and tighten your bolts. torqued. And the next thing we have to do, we have to jack this right up because we got to get that link in that strut. So we're going to have to do that from down here as best we can. So now that the strut is back in, we're going to start putting everything back together. Now guys, I have the link all back installed right here and all tightened up. All the bolts are tightened up. Now I'm just at all these clips right here that got to go in place. You have one for the bottom that goes in right here, and then you have one that goes in right here like that, and we got to get those in. Once we get all of these in, then we got to work on top. Okay, so that's one, guys. And now we have to get the bottom one. Okay, so we're done. And I got the car off the jack. And she's sitting at a sensible ride height there, which is basically the same as the other side. Basically the same. Now that strut's going to settle over a few days and should be a little bit more down. So now we got to put the cowl back on. Don't. That's in there. And he's in there. And he's lined up here. Now we have to put the wipers back on. So guys, we got to line this up a little bit more because you have to make sure your wiper is in the proper position. So it's trial, as I said, it's trial and error to get this to be in the proper seating. Which is not there. It's going to be right there. Seems to be where it wants to be. Now we'll just put the nut on. Now we have to put the hood down to fit the other one on. Now, those wipers are fairly in line. I might have to adjust them a little bit later, but it seems okay here. I'll know when I turn them on how they're going to react. Now guys, we have to put our caps on. That's that one, and that's that one. And guys, technically she's done. I think this wiper is a little bit high, but we'll see. I'll see as it goes. I'll actually try them on the window now and see how they operate. Because there's many different adjustments you can put for your wipers. And guys, that's fine for me. So guys, that's it. That's how you put a strut in your car. And I'll see you later. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget, you can check out my merch. It's all down there. And I appreciate each and every one of you subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. So I'll see you on the next one.